QVC, believe it or not, almost 7 years ago, 8 years ago with the Rastelli brand, which is our Black Angus 8 or 16 6-ounce Coulotte steaks. These are available for just 5 easy payments of $22 or 5 easy payments of $35.20 if you get this 16 count. This is a truly special steak. And I say that because it's not a steak you're going to see readily available in your grocery store, even in a great butcher shop, right? Many people don't carry this because it's very, very limited. We talk about, for instance, our Wagyu products when we try our Wagyu burgers, how limited they are. This is on that level because there's only about, believe it or not, 5 pounds on every steer, right? So take a 2,000-pound steer, there's 5 pounds of Coulotte steak. So it really is a limited item. It's reserved for the finest Brazilian steakhouses around the world, as well as also known as the butcher's cut. And it's known as the butcher's cut because just like when I was a kid, my dad would always bring those steaks home to you, or to me, excuse me, as a child. So we've decided, you know what, we have to start to share these with our QVC guests, bring them to market. Even though it's limited and we can't do it that often, when we can do it, we want to make sure we stockpile them so we have them ready to go for you.
Well, Ray, I think you just nailed it perfectly when people are thinking, like I know I was years ago, what is a Coulotte steak?
Right.
Basically, it's the top cut of the sirloin, right? So this is still like an everything steak for us.
Absolutely. You can still do so many different things with this, Brittany, right? Whether you're going to make a cheesesteak, you're going to put it on a salad. But this is great just as a steak, right? Just as a steak and potatoes. You're going to have a great center cut sirloin Coulotte steak. So you have to understand how special this is, right? A whole sirloin, a whole beef Black Angus sirloin is going to weigh about probably 16 pounds. Okay. This is only going to be about 3 pounds of that 16-pound piece, and there's only 2 of them on every animal. So you're only getting about 6 pounds of this. And when you trim all the fat, all the things you don't want to eat off of it, you're only going to end up with about 3.5 pounds of meat. So again, very limited, very special. But the reason folks love them so much is it's because it's incredibly tender, right? It's tender like between a filet mignon and a ribeye, but it's flavorful like a ribeye steak is. And I showed you in the past, you know, those ribeye steaks, you love them. It's become a favorite of yours. When we first started dating, you only really ate the filet mignon. You only ate the filet mignon because it was tender and you liked it because it was just easy to chew. This is just like that, right? I'm cutting right through it with my fork, and I'll give you one of these to try.
Thank you.
Find another fork. But Brittany, they are just absolutely exceptional, each and every bite. But it's always because you're starting with Black Angus beef. So Black Angus beef from the heartland of our country, grass-fed and corn finished, so it's raised on corn as well. But that's what's giving you that great steakhouse experience each and every time. This meat is all aged for 45 days. So this is all part of our reserve collection. The reason we classify this as our reserve collection is it's aged in the packaging for 45 days. The whole sirloin, what we call wet aged, right? Typical meat, we're going to age for about 21 days. This is just double that. And the reason it gets more pricey is because when you're aging it, you're reducing all of that, you know, all the things you don't want to eat, right? You're aging all that out of the product. It's allowing it to break down and make it more tender and ultimately just have a better experience. But each and every time, you're going to love this steak.
And it's so lean.
Because of how lean it is.
And the fact that it's lean does not mean that it does not have any flavor. That's something that I love about it.
Right.
Because I feel like sometimes when you do eat a very lean steak, it lacks flavor. This one does not. It still has such a wonderful flavor profile to it. Just adding that little steak seasoning right there is all you need. All you need.
Just a little salt, pepper, garlic, already blended throughout there.
Salad here.
Right? And you can definitely do that. But again, this is we always call our sirloin steak the everything steak because it can be used for everything. It's a steak you want to have in the freezer at all times, each and every time, because whether you're going to put it on a salad as Brittany's doing, cook it as a great steak for center of the plate, or making a cheesesteak, or whatever you want to do with red meat. This steak can be used for that, and a regular sirloin steak can be used for that, but this is that elevated experience. If you've ever gone to a real fine Brazilian steakhouse, and at the very end, right, they save the best for last, they bring out that big chunk of meat on it looks like a sword, and they carve it table side. This is the meat that they use for that. They use the Coulotte, specifically Black Angus Coulotte, because they know each and every time it's going to wow their guests. And what do? They want you to come back, right? They're not charging what QVC is charging for these steaks. They're charging probably $50 for that experience tableside. So you can have that same great experience at home with your guests, and you're going to get either 8 or 16 of these. So whichever way you choose to do it, you're also going to get our great Egg Harbor, I'm stuck on the Farrow Island salmon, our Rastelli signature seasoning, and that great cooking guide. But I want to show you what the raw meat looks like, Brittany, because I think that also helps everybody understand just how lean it's going to be, right? And lean doesn't mean no flavor.
Right.
This meat is incredibly marbled. It's going to eat like butter each and every time. So I'm going to take you over to the raw meat here. And this is a whole, well, I shouldn't say that. This is a coulotte that's been trimmed. All the fat's been taken off of it. And all the things you don't want to eat when you get it home, we've kept here, right? And we've used it for something else, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure you, our guests, have a great experience. So this is what that looks like after we trim it all off. We square up the front of it because we want you to get a nice square steak. Then we take that steak and we cut them into these beautiful 6-ounce portions. And these 6-ounce portions are going to be incredibly lean, just like you see here. And you're going to have an incredible experience each and every time, because there's nothing left, right? You're going to eat all of just the meat. When I shouldn't say there's nothing left. There's no fat left. There's nothing that you don't want to eat left on this steak. You're going to eat from one end to the other. And when you get done, there will be nothing on your plate. I hate going to a steakhouse and eating a steak and ordering a steak. And when I get done, half the steak is still left on the plate because they just didn't take the time or the care to either buy from someone that has done that for them or do that in the kitchen. So it really is an important thing.
Yes. So that translates into a bag that looks like this. You'll get them individually packaged and blast frozen. So just take out whatever you need. If you want to cook them all, feel free. If you just want to cook one, you can do that. The rest of the bag will work up to a year in the freezer.
Right.
And then these will come with your signature steak seasoning packet, and you're going to receive the cooking guide as well, which has some great tips in there for all different kinds of meat. But just to remind everybody, this is 8 or 16 of the 6-ounce Black Angus Coulotte steak. So that's on 5 easy payments of $22 for the 8-count and 5 easy payments of $35.20 for the 16-count. And that is a $43 savings tonight. So think about that. Double the offer, but a $43 savings. And we have the free shipping and handling available on this item tonight. And this is the butcher steak. This is the steak that Ray grew up with your dad bringing home. So it's a special item.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us.